pool cues with me to actually to showcase what I'm shooting with as we speak, and as well as how I help it with my autism with billiards.
Oh,
Right,
all
I'm
right.
ready.
Well, I'm sure we'll go over that. Hey guys, it's Caden, and welcome to another amazing Autism Digest interview. Where today, as you can see, we have a free-time ESPN trick shot champion in pool, advocate, and overall an inspiring figure, William the Gentleman DeYonker. Thanks for coming on, William.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been like a pleasure meeting you, Caden, and it's been a pleasure to be interviewed by Autism Digest. And it's Autism Digest, I've been told, is it's like Golf Digest in a way for golfers, and this is a more like correlates with the correlates to our autism community, right?
Yeah, that's a really nice way to
Oh,
put it.
cool.
All
Well, very
right.
cool.
So the first question I always ask to all of my guests is, for those of you who don't know the story of the gentleman, what's your story?
Well, the story was like this. At 4 years old, I was diagnosed with autism. I was at a place called Jackson ISD, back in Jackson, Michigan, and I been diagnosed with autism. But then during the time period, we went to my mom and folks and I went to this place called St. Jude Divine School for Autism, and that was in St. Louis, Missouri. And at the time, we went and stayed there for like about 3 weeks for some training on how my folks actually could become like experts with ABA therapy for kids with autism. Now in the 90s, it actually was a little different story because there wasn't a whole lot of technology or much awareness as it is today. So back in the 90s, the rate for autism, kids being diagnosed with autism, was like 1 in 110. And at the time, there was no internet technology like we have today. And so autism was only known through either books or for television, if broadcasted, and stuff like that. So it wasn't much as a big awareness as opposed to today. And at the time, we actually just did 3 week intense training. My folks and my mom decided to become her own ABA therapist individual. So my mom was working as a chiropractor, an ABA therapist specialist, and been a caregiver and provider for me and my family growing up. So my mom's a rock star in a way.
Yeah, my
And
parents are the same way too.
so my mom's a rock star, and she's been with me all this time, like helping me with ins and outs of when it comes to situations how to thwart like unwanted behaviors. We just tried something like, for example, I was at a grocery store one time, and I actually just felt like tired. I didn't want to do anything. I just want to lay down on the floor and sprawl out. And next, my mom decided actually to give me like a cereal box. I think it was Lucky Charms or something, and it kind of thwarted behaviors. And next, I was just, all those behaviors were gone, and it thwarted those unwanted behaviors of feeling tired and exhausted and want to be laying about on the floor and sprawling around and whatnot. So that led to the inspiration of mom to actually to continue on with providing how to thwart unwanted behaviors and prevent them from happening for later on down the road. This led to, restricting certain movies to watch, but you can just put a VHS tape away, say like Titanic, and making sure you don't see it before the age of 17 or 18 years old and all that stuff. And so that way, 90s back then was like, you just take the physical tape and digital tape or home movie or DVD and put it away, and now we can hide it so that way kids won't accidentally stumble upon it and stuff like that. So my mom restricted like what to watch. It was only anything from Disney to anything that pretty much has really happy endings like Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, according to with the remake today. And then so other than that, it was just my mom was a really great parent. She actually knew how to thwart behaviors and made me to the person I am today. So now here I am, 33 years old, independent and self-learned, and maintaining my own rent and bills and all the above. So I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for my mom per se.
Yeah, that's amazing. As I said, my parents have also been 100% supportive of me in this adult journey of mine. My next question for you is, I've watched a lot of your pool games, and some of the stuff you do in them, I could probably never do. You're that talented. How do you think autism has helped you on the pool table?
I think it has to do with the fact that when it came to, it started off with, I would say, from this one Disney movie called Pinocchio. I think it was Pinocchio, yeah. And something about that certain scene where they were they were at a bar and they were drinking, they were smoking cigars and playing pool. And And next, there was like a certain scenes like they actually had a trick shot or two. I didn't think it was possible, but it led me inspiration to play some pool at start, because that's what led from there. But I just think that anything that has to do with rolling objects, or anything with like ball bearings going to different paths and going for these different obstacles before they return to go through the whole chain system. And that was another toy I grew up on, was like a Rube Goldberg like rolling ball machine. What do you call it? Rube machine. What's like? Yeah, connect ball bearing like a machine, Rube Goldberg kind of machine. So, anyways, so that's probably what led me to, because I was interested in that kind of stuff, and that actually enticed me actually to get into that kind of stuff. And so it was mesmerizing. I fell in love with it, and that led me to like play more billiards. But it wasn't until about when I was 14 years old I actually got really serious, when we had a pool table at our house for the last few years, since we moved into Pinecrest home in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So I was a formerly Ann Arbor individual. Now I live in Ypsilanti. And I started watching videos on YouTube and was just trying to duplicate what the likes of Florian Venom Kohler, Steve Marco, Philly Flash, Blue Shark now for a new nickname, and then another individual from Czechoslovakia named Pavel Pleno, and then also the greats like Mike Massey, Tom Rosman, Stefano Palinga, and other. So after that, it was like I got better. I had my phone every now and then after dinner. I was like just take the rest of my dinner plate, put my dishes in the dishwasher. That helped my folks out with cleaning them after dinner. Be like, okay, bye. Went upstairs, try to hone in the trick shots within from having to do like 100, 150 attempts to now just doing within a few attempts. And my folks actually seen a lot of missed attempts, saying, no, wait, I'll get it right. And then the next, in a couple of years, I got better, and I did in fewer attempts than 100 or 150. And then fast forward to 2014, after the whole high school of practicing trick shots at home and not competing. By the time it was done in 2013, I decided to go to this one trick shot tournament in Lake City, Florida. My folks say, okay, I told them it's my 21st birthday. My birthday's in like February, so might as well just like have it be my birthday and Christmas present at the same time. I went there, played, competed, and actually didn't do bad. I actually came in fifth out of 13 players. And then that led to the following year in July of 2014, where I was like going up with the ranks of the pros, like others like Mike Massey, Stefano Palinka. No, they weren't there. It was Sebastian Giamelli, Gabby Bishoyu, Nick Nicolais, Annie Siegel, and probably a few other players. And Florian Kohler was too. Florian Kohler, I believe. And I came in like sixth place out of 30 players, and I was really honing in my skills and trick shots, and my folks were mesmerized. I did this all like my first time player, and that led to great accolades. That led later on down the road of winning like Masters titles, 2015 Masters title, tying the world record for the highest score in a artistic pool tournament. And then the following year in 2016, won a world championship title, broke the world record for highest score in artistic pool tournament. And then everything else like led to go into an ESPN qualifier where I was an internship in Colorado. Didn't have a table to practice on, but there was a table I've been told like that was right across the street from where I was interning when there wasn't a big pool table like this out in Colorado. Practiced for 2 weeks, went there, played 12 hours, won it all, and got to be on ESPN Trick Shot Magic. And then as the years progresses, then it was like, I just started progressing more in tournaments, got this title, next title, and I was just winning like, back-to-back Masters titles. And every time we go to this place called Jamaica Joe's, back-to-back, I'll be playing 4 times in a row. So that was like a new personal record on my end. And then pandemic hit, and then actually kind of recourse my introduction to more, again, to regular billiards as opposed to trick shots, because I figured I might as well just expand and see how well I do. But then when it came to 5 years since the pandemic, or maybe it was since the last time I competed, after 5 years and not practiced, I still went to a tournament and like this world championship in Bay City and got in second place and almost beat Florian Kohler. So it kind of goes to show 5 years of not practicing and shows your talents just never leaves you. It just never leaves you once you have it.
It's like riding a bike with certain things. Once you learn it and master it, You never lose it again. My next question for you is: your pool name is the Gentleman. Where did that name come from?
Well, that's my current nickname to say for trick shots. I have a nickname for pool, but that's a different story. The trick shot one actually came from after when we were competing in this one tournament in Lake City, Florida, 2013. My folks thought, I'll just call you a Gentleman. It just came to us in the middle of like on our way back home for airport security. And they consider it because I'm a really nice guy and I actually just have like social butterfly, a walk in light and love. And my folks decided to call me a Gentleman. So that's the nickname I stuck with all this time. And that led me to the accolades and stuff. So that was like where my true nickname was, have been all this time. Now I have a different nickname for undername of billiards, but it's more like what we could call it like with something with the word named Joe in it, but I will tell you our time. So other than that, the Gentleman's been with me all this time and it's helped me great accolades of trick shot tournaments and stuff.
That's amazing. And you were telling me that you had some cues you wanted to show me that you play with. Do you mind showing us quickly?
Yeah, and Florian Van Kohler, this eat your heart out. So this is my new Surge break cue. This is my new current cue I'm shooting with. This is actually initialed FK Florian Kohler, and he's a good friend of mine out in Las Vegas. So this is a Surge break cue, and this is actually one of the best break cues I've ever shot with. And it's actually for a really good price of like $300, so it's not bad. And it comes with like the shafts. And my other cue, I have right here, another case, is this is all like Q-Tech cues, and this is the current cue brand I shoot with, is Q-Tech. It's this one's an Avid Florian Kohler cue, and this is the 5.1. And the value of this cue is like $300. So actually it's not that bad for a price for a cue, and has like the usual joints of standard like a 3/8 10 pin. And then I have a jump cue too as well for it, which is a surge jump cue per se. This is actually just a butt for it because when you have a butt for a jump cue, that's how short it's going to be for jumping. And it comes with the shafts I got. I got like this one shaft for jump right here. This is the Avid, Avid shaft. It's just basic like an Avid shaft. It's kind of like what they call a composite shaft, which is actually like a wood shaft, but it's got fiberglass embedded into on top layer, so that we actually wouldn't actually never like get warped or anything. It's kind of like the next level kind of wood shaft in a way. So I think I have another one right here with like, for break-in too. It's the same thing. So other than that, that's the cues I shoot with right now because they actually are really good quality and they're really good price. They're priced for today in age of like, inflation, without inflation.
Yeah, those are super cool.
Yeah, so I just figured might as well go for cues actually that are like of good quality and for a good price because, it fits me really well because I just like cues actually that like are worth the price. And for $300 for each of those cues, and my jump cue is like about $200, but it's a really good price. Might as well go for it.
Yeah,
Teach his own for everybody else.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Those look really good for the price. My last question for you before we call it a day is: what's your advice for anyone, neurodivergent or not, who wants to get into the billiards or pool industry?
Well, for anyone who wants to get into the billiards pool industry, this is actually one of the things. Actually, I think to get in the billiards industry, learn to read the room. Learn to read the room for when it comes to sponsorship opportunities, being communicate with people playing pool under the same roof, and to also just to like, in your lane for when it comes to like friends, like pool friends and anybody you meet along the way and stuff. And basically, yeah, just growing your trick shot skills and look for advice, and also just make sure like you actually, if you're really going to be really good, just practice as many hours as possible if you love it so much. And then you start like, you start escalating, credentials and accolades of yourself of like that you got better. And now it prompts you more and more so to get better at playing pool and stuff. And another thing I've learned too is that like in the billiards world, and as much as like, where I'm at right now, I know for a fact that no matter how hard you try or no matter what you do, not everyone's going to like you. Because as much as of a good person you are or kind-hearted and stuff, not everyone's going to like you. And that's what I've learned too over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's really good advice. That's going to do it for this interview. Thank you so much to the gentleman for coming on today. If you guys want to see more amazing interviews, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Autism Digest. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right. Thank you so much for